Ladies and gentlemen, everything that's happening is a distraction.
I'm hoping people wake up enough to at least slow it down, because these people are pushing in a very obvious and very specific direction. They want digital currency, centralized digital currency that they control, and they want to get everybody on a social credit score system, and they'll probably connect it to some sort of app.
This issue to do with the technology and the digital infrastructure, I just want to emphasize how important I think that is. Because in the end, you need the data. You need to know who's been vaccinated and who hasn't been. Some of the vaccines that will come on down the line will be multiple, there'll be multiple shots. So you've got to have, for reasons to do with the healthcare more generally, but certainly for a pandemic or for vaccines, you've got to have a proper digital infrastructure, and many countries don't have that. In fact, most countries don't have that.
Well, if you want to travel around, all they would need is another pandemic to try to push that shit through. And they're already talking about that. It's very spooky. The whole thing is so scary because it was effective. It was effective and very, very financially effective. I mean, they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if they could do something similar again and then clamp down more on people, that's what scares me. This talk of centralized digital currency, that's what they have in China. If you fuck up in China and you get a bad social credit score because you tweeted something they didn't like, now you can't buy a plane ticket. Now you can't buy a car. Yeah. Now you can't get a loan. Now you can't do something. You step the fucking line, and people self-censor because they don't want to be a part of that. Now they got you.
Remember what happened in Canada when people had different opinions about the convoys that need to keep driving because of certain reason, and they decided, you know what, we're just gonna block your bank account. And like, huh? Really? That's the new normal? Do you think that people can go to China and be like, hey, free Uyghur people? No, you can't. But wait, don't go. We have carbon energy that we need to talk about that too.
The digital identity is not just a passport that you will have on your iPhone in a digital form. It entails just about everything the government would like to know about you. And yesterday in the Dutch media, we saw a perfect example of what it could entail in the near future. We had the CEO of one of the largest Dutch banks say, why don't we start with a personal carbon credit?
Oh.
A carbon wallet, she called it, actually. Yeah. So right in line with the plans that the World Economic Forum people have for us. And she said it in a way that was particularly funny. She said, well, if everyone gets an individual personal carbon credit, why don't we make it so that rich people who, for example, want to go on holiday a little too often can buy personal carbon credit from other people who, for example, can't afford buying plane tickets or eating meat too often. So we can that way swap it out.
Oh, so if Bill Gates or Leonardo DiCaprio's carbon footprint is getting a bit too big, then some peasant living in his hovel up country somewhere can sell his, and he can't afford to go to Saint-Tropez, but he'll be able to sell his carbon allowance to Leonardo DiCaprio so Leonardo can park his yacht in Saint-Tropez for a couple of extra days.
Exactly right. That's it. So what will happen is the rich will get richer, the poor will get poorer, and they're saying it openly as if it's not a controversial thing at all. It's neo-feudalism. That's what it is.
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, when you go buy a ticket, you need to pay taxes. And on those taxes, you need to add the carbon that you need to buy if you wasted all your carbon. But then if that is so important that you need to have everything in one place, why can't we speak?
As leaders, we're rightly concerned that even the most light touch approaches to disinformation could be misinterpreted as being hostile to the values of free speech that we value so highly. After all, how do you successfully end a war if people are led to believe the reason for its existence is not only legal but noble? How do you tackle climate change if people do not believe it exists? How do you ensure the human rights of others are upheld when they are subjected to hateful and dangerous rhetoric and ideology? The weapons may be different, but the goals of those who perpetuate them is often the same: to cause chaos and reduce the ability of others to defend themselves. But we have an opportunity here to ensure that these particular weapons of war do not become an established part of warfare. We are facing many battles on many fronts. But there is cause for optimism, because for every new weapon we face, there is a new tool to overcome it. For every attempt to push the world into chaos is a collective conviction to bring us back to order. We have the means. We just need the collective will.
But at the same time, they found out we communicate too much.
The good news is the elite across the world trust each other more and more, so we can come together and design and do beautiful things together. The bad news is that in every single country they were polling, the majority of people trusted that elite less. So we can lead, but if people aren't following, we're not going to get to where we want to go.
Yes, you just want the means to tell us what the heck is important, so we can drive, eat, use electric stove, not the gas stove, the meat that we're going to eat, even when we're supposed to wash our clothes. They made the commercial on the website. All I can say is it sounds very beautiful the way they're talking, but for some odd reason the people at the top will tell you always what you are supposed to believe. And the moment you challenge it, they always will have a new weapon to tackle the issue. Yeah. I don't know, man. All I can say is tackle the like button. Let people know and share. Peace.